On today's episode of the Cryptoverse. This is my sort of second experiment with doing a top stories, not sort of morning news roundup type of thing, as I scour the headlines and pick out the ones that I think are important and then report to them to you straight off the top of my head as I find them. So first one's kind of a bit of a joke. Someone's posted on Reddit that Donald Trump thinks EOS is better than Ethereum on the basis of this screenshot that shows Donald Trump's Twitter feed, and it's got the real username and all that 20 hours ago, the verification mark and all the rest of it. And the tweet says, "There's an ongoing debate about who is better, Ethereum or EOS. EOS, of course. No questions about that. Ethereum, you're fired." Now, it is a kind of a bit of a gag anyway. The question is whether it's real or not. And even if it is real, it doesn't really matter. The point I wanted to make about these kinds of things, though, is they're very difficult to prove. And if someone posts something like that, I've seen these types of things just make their way around the internet viral in a matter of minutes without any sort of verification as to whether it's true or not. It looks convincing, and that's usually enough, which is tragic. That moves me on to something else, which is another thing that's been making the rounds over the last 24 hours is a screenshot from supposedly a Telegram chat in which Dan Larimer admits that what he wants to happen with the EOS constitution is for it to be wiped out completely and replaced with a single article that allows arbitrators to rule only on cases where, say, code doesn't run as intended. And if accidentally, the DAO hack happens again, or if the code accidentally sends your money somewhere you didn't intend it, that would be the only circumstance under which arbitrators would be able to rule. So again, I saw that and people were like, "Oh, Chris, have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen this?" I'm like, yes, I saw it. What I saw was a graphic that depicted Dan Larimer's kind of profile image, the cartoon one he uses, and what looked like the inside of a Telegram chat group, but it was just an image. Very easy to Photoshop, right? So you can't really take these things seriously. Don't be gullible, right? That doesn't mean it isn't true. It just means that I would need a lot more verification as to its authenticity than just seeing it posted on Twitter, right? And the same thing goes for this kind of Donald Trump tweet, which is the reason that kind of prompted me to talk about the Dan Larimer thing in the first place. One other thing about the EOS Constitution, also the hubbub going around, is that the EOS Core Arbitration Forum are now going to refuse to freeze accounts and recover funds. So they're just putting it outside of their jurisdiction, apparently. So we'll see what happens with that as well, but that's the current state of affairs. Next news headline, according to newsbtc.com, it says exclusive. Coinbase will add Great British Pound support to ease withdrawals in the UK. Excuse me, wasn't that supposed to happen like on the 22nd of March this year? A good 3 months ago. But anyway, the story is that Coinbase CEO has confirmed that British pound support for withdrawals and deposits will be rolled out over the next few weeks. That's exactly what they said back in March, right? I reported on it. I was super excited. I was like, yes, within a few weeks, Coinbase are going to roll out this feature to all their customers. And I repeatedly logged into my account and nowhere was it to be seen. So maybe we'll get it this time. Today is the 28th of June, 2018. So over the next few weeks, let's give them to the end of July. By then, that's pretty much complied with the definition of in the next few weeks, wouldn't you agree? So hopefully they'll do it this time. We'll see. Next story, Augur have put out a project on HackerOne, which gives you a bounty for finding bugs in the software. So the rewards range anywhere from $1,000 for low priority, low severity bugs, all the way up to critical bugs, which get you $100,000. So there's a whole disclosure and rules and so on that are displayed on the HackerOne website. The reason I mention this is because when Block 1 put out a bounty program paying $10,000 for bugs found in the EOS IO software, everyone went ape about it and attacked it left, right, and center. So I now expect to see the same level, actually 10 times the intensity of hate going after Augur, because they're now offering it 10 times the money for a very similar program. The next story is a bit of a fun one. The first battle has occurred on Monster EOS. If you don't know what Monster EOS is, it's kind of like it's Tamagotchis on the blockchain. That's how it started out. where you just generate a pet and then you feed it and you put it to sleep and all that based on its needs and so on. Well, the developer tweeted out that they completed the first battle. So they're chasing the CryptoKitties crowd, I assume. But anyway, sooner or later you'll be able to battle your monster EOS against other monsters. So if you want to check that out, go to monstereos.io and have a play with it. And now expanding on something that I mentioned the other day about the Lightning Network. So this story comes from thenextweb.com. Lightning Network has a 1% success rate with transactions larger than $300. So it's saying that the Lightning Network can only ensure a 100% success rate for a payment of up to 3 cents, according to a cryptocurrency research firm called DIAR. So we said this the other day, it's because you have to collateralize a payment channel in the Lightning Network, and depending on how much collateral is in the channel depends how much, what size of payment you can relay on behalf of others. So then they display this chart that shows a probability from 1 to 100 down the left axis, and then across the bottom shows the amount you're sending. So, and of course, as the amount goes up, the probability goes down to where you approach the $300 mark, where it reaches almost zero. So it says here the total network capacity of the Lightning Network crossed $150,000 in April, with more than 2,000 active nodes running 6,600 channels. And at the time of writing, the total network capacity has grown to 2,500 nodes and 7,600 channels. So the article says there's not a huge amount of growth in that amount of time. The article then gets updated by saying that Lightning Labs co-founder and chief technology officer has downplayed the methodology used by the research firm. They basically said, no, that's not true about the $300 payment having a 1% success rate because your methodology is flawed. And then they also say that in the research firm says that the maximum transferable amount on the Lightning Network is the equivalent of $490, whereas the Lightning Labs engineer replies by saying, actually, the maximum payment size on the Lightning Network is like 4.2 million Satoshis, which right now is about $260 at the time of writing. So, well, that's a fact then, isn't it? You can't actually send more than $260 on the Lightning Network. If you want to send more than that, you're best off using the main Bitcoin network, which is fine as long as you've got some block space. But if you haven't got the block space and you want to send over $260, you're in a bit of a spot, aren't you? And for the final story in this roundup, there's this thing called PigsB. So PigsB wants to make cryptocurrency more appealing to children. This reminds me of the live stream that I did with It's Me Boss Lady the other day. She kind of pointed out that it's not the grannies that we need to make sure can use cryptos, like by creating nice interfaces and all that sort of stuff, so simple that your grandma could use it. That might actually be the wrong target market. Maybe it's the young people that we should be targeting, because if they adopt crypto as their first foray into finance and they just grow up with that, when they become the masses, crypto will be mainstream. So PigsB is this little app thingy. It has its own internal currency, and it doesn't use Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, but it has this wallow currency, which kids collect by playing finance-oriented games, and then that allows them to just get used to the idea of digital currency and so on, which I'm sure they already are with regards to iPhone games and so on. It's just whether the currency has any value and can be transferred out to the rest of the economy. That's really the key thing. So, I don't see any reason why kids shouldn't be able to use cryptocurrencies. It's difficult enough for them to get a bank account and all the rest of it. But the principal point is that if you train a generation to do something, when they advance into the mainstream, that changes the entire culture. So if we taught all 8-year-olds to meditate, or we taught all 8-year-olds about cryptocurrency, that's it. Done. We've won the battle, won the war. You just let them mature into adulthood and they just take all of those worldviews with them. So there we go. That's all I've got for the news roundup for today. So if you like this episode, go ahead, hit the like button, leave me a comment down below to give me some feedback. And if you want to subscribe so that you get notified for my future videos, click the little bell after the subscription button and you'll get notified. Other than that, if you want to learn more in depth about cryptocurrencies, say you want to learn about the technology and how the blockchain technology works, check out my Digital Money Revolution course. If you don't care about the tech and you just want to know how to make and save money with Bitcoin and what to do with it practically, check out the Secrets of the Bitcoin Triangle course. And if you don't care about any of that and you just want to make some money by trading cryptocurrencies, then check out my course called The Master Cryptocurrency Trader. Right, my intention now is to go and make a more in-depth, single topic video, so I'll be back with that later on today. Until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.